things that you can put in for you to yeah, I know.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is March the 12th, 2015, and we're going to go ahead and start this meeting. Judge Long should be here in a little bit, but we're going to go ahead and proceed the commissioners, following the commissioners' wishes. Roll call, y'all know everybody here. I'm going to follow Judge Long. Y'all know everybody here. All the commissioners are here, and he'll be here in a minute. The opening prayer, Pete, can you take care of that, please?
Heavenly Father, we thank you for all of our blessings. Thank you especially for the beautiful rain we had this past week, recently. We thank you that ask you to be with us in the recovery of our Commissioners Court members, whatever their needs. We ask that you be with us and make decisions for the county today. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 6, reading of the minutes.
Number 5.
Oh, I am so sorry. Here comes Judge Long right now. I'll go ahead and wait. Okay, number 5, citizens to be heard. Is there any citizen to be heard?
Sue Carter.
Sue, did you want to be heard now, or during the agenda item you wanted to speak of?
Yeah.
Okay, proceed.
Commissioners and audience, I would like to, first of all, make sure you all know about our Karnes County Courthouse Restoration Phase 2 kickoff meeting, which has been set up by Commissioners Court, and it is tomorrow at 5 o'clock at the courtroom across the hall here in the annex. And this will be an opportunity for you to ask a lot of questions. Our architect, Louis Fisher, will be giving a slide presentation of his firm, what all they have done, his expertise in this particular area. And I think it will give you all a much better understanding of what's going on with the courthouse. He'll also talk about scheduling and what has to be done when, and it'll be an informal setting. You can be in the room and ask any questions. So I think this is a really, really good way to get our Phase 2 work started, because he wants to get a lot of input from our county employees and from the citizens. So I am really glad that we are able to get this Phase 2 started and on the way, so we can all look forward to the day our courthouse is restored and we can be again holding court and have our businesses in the courthouse, and it'll be something to be very, very proud of. And then the second thing I wanted to mention today, I wanted to thank our Sheriff's Department. They were so helpful to me last week. We had a little incident at my ranch, and some cattle got out on the road. And I am so thankful to the Sheriff's Department, because they were there and they got the cows back in, and they waited until I was there and made sure, yes, they were my cows. And so I just wanted to thank them, because they really went above and beyond in helpfulness. So thank you to the Sheriff's Department. Thank you.
Going to number 6, reading of the minutes. Thank you, Sue. Have y'all had time to read the minutes, or do y'all want to skip the item number 6? Pete, you want to give it a little time to the end of the meeting, or? Okay. Consent, just, we're gonna go to item consent.
There should be one in your package, Judge.
I've already read it too, you need to see it.
Pete's ready, y'all ready for it. I'm not going to read the minutes, all the minutes are available to the court, and they have all indicated that they've read them, so we're going to go forward with item 7. Employee recognition, you know, discuss, approve, disapprove, entering into a contract for services with Greg Liska as Karnes County DR designated representative for the on-site sewage facility. Fees will be collected through the special project coordinator. Mr. Liska will then bill the county at the rate of $150 for residential and $200 for commercial customers, authored by Helen Hernandez.
We got audited on February the 17th by TCEQ, and it was brought to my attention that we did not have a contract with Mr. Liska. He has been inspecting septic systems for the county, he said, for about 15 years. And so I drew up a contract, everybody's got a copy of it. It was approved by Mr. Hancock, and it's just giving what his duties are, and that the fees will be collected by me, and then we will bill the county.
Is Mr. Hancock not here?
He's in his report, he's in Jason's report, sir.
Did he tell you? that he
His
was
secretary
satisfied?
called me yesterday and said it had been approved.
You want me to sum this in, Judge? or-
Yeah. And we can, go ahead.
Y'all aren't talking into your mics. Thank you.
Excuse me. If anybody else wasn't talking into your mic, do so. Just a second till he comes back. I'm sorry to bring you in here, Herb, but they said that you had looked at this septic system, on-site sewage facility. Fees were to be collected, and you had said that it was okay. I'd like to hear it from the course, it's now.
I did, I looked at it, and I signed one copy, put my initial on it, probably didn't sign the one that you got.
Well, I don't have one that's signed, so excuse me for
But I
that.
did look at it.
That's all I wanted, and I appreciate you coming in, and I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yes. Is there a motion to approve or disapprove, or,
I'll make the motion to approve item number 7 as presented.
and is there a second to that motion?
I second it.
I just suggest that since it's court action to accept the contract, that Judge Long, you sign the contract rather than Helen.
Giving the judge the permission
Authority
to
to
sign the
sign,
contract.
Sign the contract, that's part of the motion.
Yes, I second it.
All right. Is there any further discussion on the motion? If not, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried unanimously. Item 8, I believe, is where we are. Discuss, approve, disapprove, increasing fees for on-site sewage facility permits. The increase would be for residential customers from $350 to $380. And this item is also authored by Helen.
Okay, I was looking through our records.
Is that mic not working?
Judge, you have to take the cord from that and use it over there, the cord is bad.
Okay.
Back in November 18, 2011, there was actually an increase that was never put into effect. So I am just going to go with that increase and disregard what I had put in for this increase.
What is that increase that was done in 2011?
It was 500 for residential and 450 500 for commercial and 450 for residential. And so we're just going to go with those fees and disregard what I was going to put in.
Is this part of what you did
What I
on the
did,
last
yes, sir.
page? Okay.
And on there on the back sheet, it'll have where it was actually approved in 2011 for the increase. It was just never put into effect.
Just tell them if you want to work.
Oh, I was not working at this position at that time, so I was not aware of the increase.
But it was increased and approved by the court in
Yes, sir.
that meeting.
Yes, sir.
And so this does not require any action by the court.
Right.
Correct. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Man, that's yours, Shelby. Discuss legislative update for Karnes County authored by Shelby Dugan.
Karnes County, we've been working on a saltwater disposal bill. Here lately, we've been getting a lot of notifications. A lot of people have been calling, and they're complaining that people are, these companies are putting in wells and they're not being notified. We've met with the Railroad Commission in Austin, Mr. Horridge, Pete and I did. And we've talked with them, and then we've got with our new Simpson Zaffarini and Syrier, and they're crafting a bill to address where the companies, if they intend to put in a saltwater disposal well, they have to come before the Commissioner's Court and tell us exactly where they're going to put it, not just the latitude and longitude and 4.3 miles northwest of Kennedy or Karnes City or wherever, and actually tell us an impact, what's going to be there. Is it going to be one truck or 500 trucks, and other issues that the court may, or questions the court may have. All of a sudden, this bill it's been sent to the Legislative Council for printing, and Syrier's office told me that all of a sudden everybody out of the woodwork's coming out and getting a lot of pushback. So I don't know what this thing's gonna do, but we're trying to get the public where they have better notification of of these saltwater wells coming in, because some people have built houses and now right across the road they're looking at a well coming in that brings in the odor and all the light pollution and stuff. But in addition, there's some significant county bills that are being put out there. I'm just going to read them off. House Bill 392 by McClendon. It authorizes additional $10 local option vehicle registration fee to the relieve congestion, improve safety and air quality. House Bill 684 by Sheets and Senate Bill 327 by Hinojosa authorizes all counties to adopt a fire code. Currently, counties can't adopt fire codes. House Bill 691 and by Whiting and 366 by Garcia increases the penalty for illegal wrecking yards. House Bill 814 by Larson and Senate Bill 392 by Burton authorizes counties to post notices on internet instead of the newspaper. House Bill 1830 by Kemple authorizes counties to regulate illegal game rooms. House Bill 264 by Keffer and 861 by Senator Birdwell authorizes counties to regulate location and depth of the telephone line in the right-of-way. House Bill 2077 by Keffer and Senate Bill 865 by Birdwell provides tort immunity for county road work within 24-foot of surface. House Bill 2521 by Coleman and Senate Bill 951 by Uresti returns oil and gas revenues from county to roads, from the state to the county. That one would probably bring Karnes County $4.7 million if that gets through. Senate Bill 93 by Ellis repeals the driver's license revocation fees under the Driver Responsibility Act. Senate Bill 906 by Hinojosa increases the county officer motor vehicle registration fee from $10 to $20. Senate Bill 1025 by Sellinger increases state supplemental compensation county paid to judges. House Bill 226 by Guyon and Senate Bill 273 by Campbell imposes penalties on counties for mistakenly posting the concealed weapon sign. House Bill 330 by Wu and House Bill 1205 by Dutton raises the age of criminal responsibility to 18. House Bill 365 by Elkins and Senate Bill 182 by Betancourt lowers the revenue caps to 4%, requires mandatory referendum. That bill has been taken off currently. We'll see what's going to come back. House Bill 635 by Springer reduces fines for overweight agricultural products. House Bill 1137 by Israel expands county liability and whistleblower suits. House Bill 1182 and by Shane and Senate Bill 102 by Hinojosa increases the ballot language on bond propositions. House Bill 1252 by Pickett requires strict uniform weight standards for citations of overweight trucks. House Bill 1399 by Goldman and Senate Bill 310 by Campbell increases the notice and lowers referendum requirements for certificates of obligations. House Bill 2310 by Leach requires counties to maintain a website for public information requests. Senate Bill 766 by Betancourt includes debt service in the effective rollback rate, and Senate Bill 1042 by Betancourt requires a new financial report on county websites. Those are the bills that the county has been kind of watching, just for y'all's information.
Shelley, did you say approve or disapprove the game rooms?
They hadn't approved it yet.
They haven't approved.
The counties can't regulate game rooms outside in the county. The cities can in the cities. That one bill there is coming out of Galveston County where they were having problems with, they were just springing up all over the county. It was creating Galveston County big problems, so they got the Houston people to.
In regards to the House bill for the hills and wall fees underneath the roads, I have it as 1576. I'm not sure what number you gave it, Shelby, but I was just wondering if we were getting any type of reports from our lobbyists that we're paying.
The lobbyist,
Holzheiser.
Holzhauser, I talked with, this is the TAC bill, but I hadn't heard anything from him on it. He's basically been telling me he's just strictly on transportation. But I'm sure that he's got something to do with it because Judge Fowler is pushing this pretty hard.
Something else that I've gotten several things on is, and Shelby may have mentioned it. If he did, I missed it, but it's revenue cap legislation that would affect the rollback rates and such as that. I am only vaguely familiar with what they're talking about, but the Association for Counties obviously is opposed to it. They're trying to lower the increases from 8% to 4%. And I don't exactly understand where those percentages are applied, but anyway, that's another item. So.
And that one there also includes that if it does go to 4%, the county will have to have a mandatory election automatically. And that's what they're arguing about right now. It's nothing they call unfunded mandates. But Garnett Coleman, and he's the one that's taking up the cost for the minerals on the county roads for the state affairs.
Any other comments? I see our auditor smiling and shaking her head and nodding and frowning. And do you have a comment about this in some way?
We don't want that reduction to the 4% from the 8%.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll comment, these are not all good bills. That one in particular, the rollback, we're gonna face that in a couple of years. When the mineral values come down, we'll be facing it, so we need to talk to your representatives, senators, and ask them not to support that. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff in here that is mentioned that you need to follow up and check out. We can't do it all right here today.
Shannon, it's Senate Bill 951 by Uresti and House Bill 2521 by Cole.
And you can blame it on the court if you want to, but every one of you sitting out here has the right to contact your representative or your senator and should have the responsibility to do it, not just the right to do it, and not leave it up to the commissioner's court. They may and may not do a good job, and you might or might not do a better job. So each one of you keep in mind that you have a responsibility to do this, the same as the court does. And we will keep it in mind also.
I just want everybody to know what these bills are out there, so I've got a copy of this sheet that I have. If y'all need copies, just pass them out.
Supporting what Judge Long said, I'd like for him to know that I did do some calling in this past week with the article in the paper about us only getting $15.2 million on state highways in our area, after the Proposition 1 gave the state $2 billion through Proposition 1 to work on our state highway systems. And somehow our county got the short end of the stick, because when you calculate 15.2 million out of 2 billion, we got 0.007% of that. And the Eagle Ford Shale counties did not even have a representative on the stakeholders committee representing Eagle Ford Shale counties on how that Proposition 1 money was distributed. And I think, considering how much money our counties, along with other Eagle Ford Shale counties, send the state, we really got the short end of the stick on that distribution, and I think you should let your representatives know.
Well, they know.
They do know, and another responsibility in connection with that, which very few of you probably have knowledge of, the highway department is important in all of these actions that we're talking about and what's going on. And if you haven't had any contact with the highway department, I don't mean going out here on the highway and talking to the people who are out here. I mean going to Austin and talking to the highway department people who are responsible for the direction of our highway maintenance. They do a lot of things. I know a good bit about this. My father-in-law at one time was the chief maintenance engineer for the entire state highway department, and we kept up with it very, very strongly. He did, and I did, and I've lost track of it some, but I have now made contact with them again, and will keep contact with the highway department, and not just the local highway department, and not just the corpus office, but the office that is headquartered in Austin, and they're the ones that do everything. I don't care what anybody tells you. If you have a responsibility or a desire, you start in Austin, you don't end in Austin. And believe me, it's very important. It doesn't get any more important than talking to the people up there. It helps to talk down here to your local people, but that's not where the deal is. The deal's in Austin. Believe me. All right, with that said, let's move on. We're to number 10. Item 10 on the agenda, discuss, approve, disapprove to declare April 13th through 17th, 2015 Karnes County Government Week presented by Vi Malone.
Morning. April is National County Government Month, and last year, kind of on the spur of the moment, last minute, we had a open house one evening, and we didn't really have a big turnout because we didn't really have a lot of time to plan on it. So Megan Dennison and Denise, the district clerk, and Susanna and I have kind of gotten together, and we decided that this week would be a good week just to declare Karnes County Government Week. The week after that, I'm going to a conference, and the following week, Denise is going to a conference, and actually there's a murder trial going on that week also, so we thought that would be a good week. That Tuesday is Commissioner's Court, and that Thursday there actually is District Court, so we would have some traffic in the courthouse. What we would do is just set up tables, and everybody would just put their information about their offices there to leave throughout the week. No, if you want to sit there for a while, that's fine, but we figured we'd just have tables set out. Shelby and I talked a little bit also about possibly having an evening one also, open house, maybe from 4:30 to 6:30 or 4 to 6 for anybody that works during the day and wants to come in. What we did last year, we just all put information about what our offices do. We've talked to Joe Baker about doing a little article in the paper also and talking about it. There is a little video that Texas Association of Counties has. It's about a 17-minute video that we can play. It discusses county government, what to expect from it. I've talked to Sue about doing some stuff with the courthouse also. Maybe we could have some information on the food bank there. The Wesley nurse, we're contacting her about maybe one day just doing free screenings, a couple hours one day. So we figured this would be the best week to have it. If there's a different week that commissioners would want, that's fine, but we just kind of picked a date. On that Friday, we'll also want to talk about having our employee appreciation luncheon. We did that last year, doing that again this year. I figured on the meeting, March 31st, all the department heads after Commissioners Court could get together and we could kind of discuss that also. Megan has also contacted the schools. There's a 7th grade program that she can present to the schools. Karnes City is the only one that's responded so far about wanting her to come in and do a little presentation about county government to the 7th graders. That's it.
Any questions from anybody? Thank you.
So we're going to approve that week?
I move that we have April 13th through the 17th, this Karnes County Government Week.
Second.
Any discussion about Commissioner Court? If not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no.
Thank
All
you.
voted for.
Just to court keep going. I don't know.
Okay, all right. Well, you want me to announce it? Just tell them what's going on?
Yeah.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very sorry. I just let the judge know that I have restrictions of sitting down too long because after the accident, the trauma and all, I came to Commissioner's Court the last time and I sat for 3.5 hours. And the next day, I developed some blood clots. I started getting pain, so I was admitted back for 2.5, 3 days back in the hospital because of blood clots. Now, they didn't say that's the reason it happened, but they told me I'm in a restriction right now. I can only sit for about 30, 40 minutes. I got to get up and go walk around. I apologize. I don't mean to disrupt the court, but it is my livelihood, and I do have blood clots. I just made the judge aware of that. If I could be excused, and I figured the court could go on, but he said no, he wanted me to be part of it, so I think he's going to recess it.
We're going to recess for 15 minutes, and then we'll start up again. We'll call the meeting back to order. We're on item
11, Judge.
11. Acknowledge the acceptance of a $40 donation from Rodolfo Luna and Geneva Leal to the Sheriff's Department to be used at the discretion of the Sheriff. Authored by Sheriff Dwayne Villanueva. You're going to speak for the Sheriff.
Yes, the sheriff was called away to a meeting, so he apologizes he couldn't be here. We just wanted to acknowledge the acceptance of a $40 donation that was given by these individuals to the sheriff's office.
All right. We will show it being acknowledged in the Commissioner's Court meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank the donor. Y'all will be seeing, I'm sure, thank them. If they're here, thank you very much for the donation to the Sheriff's Department. Item 12, discuss, approve, disapprove correction of the March 28, 2013 Karnes County deed to Energy Lodge Kennedy LLC, authored by Lee as appointed. Lee.
Do you have a copy of that?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Basically, the old Kennedy Karnes City Road was abandoned. Parts of it have already been paid out before. And on this time, I presented this deed without warranty back in March of 2013. I was under the belief that Sam Hemby owned the adjacent property, Energy Lodge. In discussion with Sam Hemby through his attorney, he decided to just give his portion over to Energy Lodge. On the back page there, you'll see there's actually another owner of it. I had nothing in my records up until that survey came in, and I didn't catch it in that February 2013 that there's actually an additional owner of Energy Lodge. So this is to make that correction, because when you abandon the road, it goes to the adjacent owners. Sam Hemby was going to give his over to Energy Lodge. He since passed away. So we're doing a deed to the estate, deed to the other owner, and then half to Energy Lodge. And this will correct the mistake in the previous deed. Do you have any questions on that?
I don't have a question. I don't understand well enough to even ask a question about it. Go through it again if you will. And I'm sorry that I'm slow.
Speak up a little bit.
Give them that microphone.
Yeah.
Sorry. When the road is abandoned under the Texas Transportation Code, it goes to the adjacent landowners. Part of this road had already been done before. This is the form that was approved by the attorney back then for that was the same form. But at the time, I was under the belief Sam Hemby was the only one that was the adjacent. Nothing in my records showed it wasn't. When we got the survey, it did show there was an additional owner. I didn't catch it at the time.
Can anybody hear? I think they can't hear. Some way we need.
Can you hear me now? Okay, good. And basically, because he wasn't included in it, that half the road should have gone to him. So this corrects that and gets it to everybody it's supposed to go to.
Have you got a map of the road or?
It's on the
something?
back page.
Last page of this. That's the last page. That's the last.
Lee, if I understand you, you seeded, or the county seeded all of the road to Sam, and part of it should have gone to Carl, is that correct?
Well, the county ceded it all to Energy Lodge, but Sam says he didn't want to go ahead and give it to them, but he's now passed away, so, and his estate is still in, being distributed. So we just given it to the estate and let them figure out what they want to do with it.
But the other portion that was in question is going to Carl.
Yes, he was the other landowner, he should have gotten, nothing I had until he called me early 2014, he goes, hey, there's a problem here. I went to double check, but you're right. So we made the correction, fix it.
There's enough wells in that area that I'm sure Carl is interested in that.
I don't know if it's in a pool or not, but
His concern was cutting off part of access to the highway. Take whatever it was interested.
Who's it?
Carl's concern was losing a little part of access to the highway frontage. That's what he expressed to me.
You're the only one who's talked to about it. Has he talked to anybody else on the court?
Not that I know of. I asked Mr. Hancock, and he indicated that he found no issue with it, but that's as far as I know.
Has he looked at it?
I think he has.
I presented this to Herb Hancock and he had no objections.
I wasn't like you quite up to speed on it to figure out. I could tell what was going on, but I wasn't sure if there was, pardon me, and I wouldn't accuse you of this, there's some sleight of hand going on. I wanted to make sure that it was all above board for where I would sign on.
It was a mistake, we were correcting that. But Carl Hummel's attorney has reviewed it over and drafted.
And Tracy did for Carl, not for the court or the people or anything.
Right. I drafted the deeds for Energy. Julie Nichols, and I provided the form to Carl Hummel's attorney. And he
Who's the
finalized
attorney?
it.
I assume he's not here today.
No, he's not here. I don't remember his name off the top of my head. But he was notified at the meeting. I told him I'd present these, and they had no objection for me presenting these on their behalf today.
I don't really understand it.
Why don't we get, since Mr. Hancock has looked at it, would you like me to go ask him if he'd come in and give us his commentary?
Well, it would be more than we have right now.
I think they just finished up their judge, so we may be available.
Okay, thank you.
What year was this done?
2013.
There's been a problem with that road. I've lived here 53 years. There's been a problem with that road ever since I've lived here. And it didn't just come up last week. I don't even know what the problem was. I don't know it's been.
Yes, sir.
We're just trying to find out what the problem is with the road. I don't even know what road, they call it Old Kennedy Karnes City Road, 0.366 acres. And then another part of it was 0.348 acres. KT Road, not in use. And they say they've talked to you, but somebody else.
Let me tell you what I know about it. It'll take just a second. I know quite frequently you ask the time of the day, and I give you the history of watchmaking. But I'd
I'd
make
like
this,
to have the watchmaker.
you want to do the watchmaking side of it right now. The road abandonment issue came up before Mr. Busman left the office about, well, ever how long I've been in office, over 2 years. And it kind of laid around, it was never handled, and several of those abandoned road issues were brought up in the early part of my term, and I looked at them and worked through them. This one I looked at and did not realize at the time that Carl Hummel had an interest in some of the property that was being abandoned. Back then, we were not asking for all of the individuals on the different sides of the property to sign releases as to what their interest was in the property. As you know now, we do that on every piece of property we ask the court to give back to the adjoining landowners. The reality of where we are at this time is the deed that Lee made gave all of the property to a landowner adjoining Carl, when in reality, Carl should have gotten half of the abandoned road for his property, as when the property was deeded that way. It was a mistake. I did not catch it. It's an effort, I think, on Lee's part to correct something that should have been done back when we were doing it, but we did not do it at that time. The property had been surveyed. Lee has volunteered his time because of his concerns over the issue. I looked at his paperwork. Based on my experience now, as opposed to back then, I am satisfied that what Lee is trying to do is the appropriate thing under the circumstances. I'll answer any questions. I looked at the deed that Lee has. It appears to be in proper working order.
The name of Carl Hummel's attorney is Patrick Hundley. Patrick Hundley.
Originally, this whole road was given to that energy line. Now, it's going to be split up. The .366 acres is going to stay with Energy Lodge. .34 acres goes to Carl Hummel, and .05 acres goes to the estate of Hemby, and then they're going to decide what they want to do with it?
Correct.
Okay, so it's going to be split up 3 different ways now.
Correct.
Tell me again how it's going to be split. Tell me again how it's going to be.
The half of the road adjacent to Energy Lodge goes to Energy Lodge. The part of the road that's adjacent
Which
to
is the hay that's adjacent to it?
.0366, Judge.
It's up.
The .348 that's adjacent to Carl Hummer's will go to Carl Hummel. .54 that is adjacent to Sam Hemby's will go to his estate.
0.
Yes.
The piece right there.
Judge, if I might interject at this time, if we had been using the policy that is now in place by this court to get consent of all adjoining landowners, this would have never come up. We just did not do that to an animal.
This has been a problem for 50-something years that I've lived here. That's why I'm concerned.
Well,
It didn't just come up last week, the week before last, or 2 months ago or anything.
I agree with you, Judge, but I think that at the present time, the circumstance we're faced with is that the problem that was created 2 years ago needs to be corrected, and Lee has a solution for the problem that we created 2 years ago. And he's asking the court to allow us to correct that problem and get the rightful owners to the property and get the property in the rightful hands. That's all this is doing in my opinion.
And you're saying that we do have rules or procedure in place now that would prevent train wreck of this
Yes.
nature?
What happened in the past is, not in this case, but we had a train wreck in another piece of property shortly after this, where we didn't get all of the adjoining landowners. The petitioner that came in here didn't bring us an affidavit as to who owned the land around them. And as a result of that, we messed up a deed. We corrected it shortly afterwards. But that is a basis on which we are functioning today. That every time a petition is filed for abandoned property and right-of-way, all adjoining landowners have to sign a affidavit as to their interest in how they want the property to be settled. If the property is abandoned and if the Commissioner's Court makes a decision that the right-of-way, and it's only the surface rights, if there's any mineral interest, they're reserved for the county and to the county. And we were dealt with it.
Was there any mineral interest in any of it?
I think this is only it's for an easement as opposed to an outright deed was at the time.
We could never find the original grant to where the county got it.
So y'all really don't know what you're talking about.
This
But
deed,
it's all
well,
under-
originally the deed would take care of if it was a deed to the county or if it was an easement to the county. The original paperwork was never located on how the county acquired it.
And we worked off of the function that it was an easement. And
Not
so,
no.
well, with an easement, Judge, the minerals are never dealt with. They're still in the hands of the adjoining landowners. So an easement is only a surface right. It has nothing to do with anything else under that. So that's the basis on which we functioned in this particular set of circumstances.
I'm hearing you, but you're not clearing up what the problem is here. For me,
I asked if there is a possibility we might get someone independent to look at it, another lawyer or someone, and come back to report to the court.
certainly would be interested in seeing who really owns the property that's on.
I don't have any problem if you would, if it would make the court feel better. I would be so inclined to ask you to allow us to table this issue at the time and let me get a lawyer that does nothing except this, that could look at it. And
Who's going to pay for it?
well,
If I could just interject real quick. Section 251.058 of the Texas Transportation Code. Title to a public road or a portion of a public road that is closed, abandoned, or vacated to the center of the line vests on the date and order signed by the county judge and the owner of the property that abuts the portion of the road being closed, abandoned, or vacated. So there's no, it's, once the road is abandoned,
Say
it
there's
goes
no nothing because there's a whole bunch.
Judge, the only way that I know we could address it is to try to find some money in my budget to pay for it, because I want the court to be satisfied with what it's doing, and I don't want there to be any question mark about what we're doing at this time, and I'll be glad to do that if you want me to.
Why should we pay for it?
Well, I'm on.
We're not giving, the county's not giving. Whoever getting the road should pay for it.
I'm speaking for the I can't tell anybody else to pay the bill. I would expect that we could convince those who are asking for the road to be, the issue to be corrected, to pay for it.
Why don't we see about that and see if we can do that and bring it back to the court?
Okay, when do you want me to do that? Next time?
15 minutes. Don't ask dumb questions, Herb. When can you get it ready and present it to the court?
Just put it in the next, at the next meeting on the agenda, and I'll get somebody, I'll find out if I can get them to pay for it. And see who I can hire to do it and tell you those two things at the next meeting. Just put it on the agenda for that.
All right. That's okay with me, if it's all right with the rest of the court.
So we pass to the next time.
All right. We'll put it on the agenda for the next meeting.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Herb.
Number 13. Item 13 on the agenda, approval of assignment of the real property portion of Select Energy Services property tax abatement agreement. I don't have a clue what any of that means, but I assume somebody doesn't have anybody's name on it.
Judge, this has come up in court a couple of times when the real estate investment trust that took over I believe this would be the case when they bought out the real property that Select Energy Services owned. The Select Energy Services was given an abatement by Commissioners Court at that time based on some commitment to perform certain things in terms of jobs, etc. Henceforth, they sold the property, and then whomever owned it sold it again. And what it looks to me like is Energy Services has written us a letter that they're in compliance with whatever caveats there were in that particular agreement initially. That's what it looks like anyway, and probably they're supporting the investment trust that owns the property and requesting their abatement be continued.
Is there anybody here from Select?
They don't ever show up.
They what?
They don't ever show up. Not 3 times they haven't shown up.
As far as I'm concerned, I don't think we need to take any action if they're not here, so they have to show up.
Suits me.
All right, we'll take no action. We're on item 14. Discuss, approve, disapprove bond for the elections administrator, Karen Opiella. Bond $10,000, premium $50, authored by Luana Catherick.
We're required to hold a bond from the elections administrator, and it's in the amount of $10,000. The premium is $50. It's just a formality for the court to approve it.
We just need to take action on the agreement.
Yes, sir.
So moved.
Second. There's a motion and a second to approve the bond for the election administrator, Karen Opiella, bond of $10,000, premiums $50, and shows authored by Luana. Doesn't matter who authored it, I don't think. So, there was a motion and a second to approve the bond. And any other discussion? If not, all in favor of approving the bond, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. All voting for. Motion carries. Item 15, discuss, approve, disapprove to relieve Mrs. Rhonda Green of her duties as a road permit inspector and move her to the original position with Road and Bridge Department, authored by David Reynolds.
Okay, Judge, you have a letter that I have written to Mr. Wozniak about Mrs. Green. I'm going to pass out the comparison. This is basically my report for later about the permits that have been written this far in the year. I'll finish my comments and then go ahead and pass this out. But there are three issues, I believe, at hand. One is that Mr. Wozniak has indicated on numerous occasions that he's shorthanded, and that would put someone back in his purview to use for road maintenance. Second thing is that there is a $2 difference in hourly pay of using, at this point, of using Mrs. Green as opposed to using one of the special services ladies. That difference could go as high as $4 if she gets to the next step in the pay scale. The third thing is there definitely is questions about the chain of command with Mrs. Green actually being a road and bridge employee. She basically has two bosses. That seldom works well. I'm not saying it wasn't functional, but it certainly is not the best sort of situation. Fourthly, our volume has dropped. For the same 2 months, we're down $65,000 in revenue from the same 2 months last year, and it's continuing to drop. Part of the January 2015 permits is skewed because Mr. Schindel did not do any after the 18th of December, so everything from the end of December was kicked over into January. If we took those that had been held over out, that difference would even be greater. We're on a declining situation as far as our utilization goes. We have two ladies in there that are certainly capable of doing it, and therefore I would like to release her and send her back to Road and Bridge. And I'll give you a copy of this right now. Basically, it's my report for later also. Here, just pass them. Let's see if that's a couple of them.
Rhonda at the time, I think, was only there for an interim basis until we got somebody where we decided to do. I mean, if she wasn't really, she was temporarily assigned there just for the record. But, you know, I'm kind of concerned is that it may have declined, but you got a bunch of bootleggers out there now that are just setting up lines every which way, and nobody's really taking care of them. Nobody's monitoring what they're doing. I drove some roads yesterday and I found probably 8 on my county roads that have expired or have no record of anybody doing anything. So I'm just want to make sure that we, you know, that we're monitoring somehow. We're going to monitor what they're doing.
We are making every effort that we can to go back over these, Shelby, and I realize there are some of these. There have been several instances that have been brought to our attention. Anytime one was brought to the attention, we have immediately gone to check on it. And in addition, in this instance, primarily Twyla has been out. And we have utilized Mr. Hans, who had worked in this position previously, for some training and some background in what she's doing, so she's not exactly clueless as to what's going on. But anyway, I would, you know, we can discuss further, but I would move that we move Mrs. Green back to her original duties and leave the inspection to Road and Bridge Permitting Office.
I will second that motion. I will make a comment along with it. I certainly agree with trying to get the most work out of our employees and we can best use them. And if it can be done this way, and if Helen or Twyla can check on those things while they're out there and report to you, I think so. I'll second that motion.
Colton, I think Mr. Wozniak has something he wants to say, if he's ready to stand back.
Come up here.
Okay. We have been out on these roads, checking them out, monitoring them. The thing is we don't know what the permit is for, what it's about. We don't know nothing about it. What we need is somebody that's going to patrol all 572 miles of road we got. The problem we're having right now is we're finding people open cutting. We don't know if they paid for bore, if this was an old permit before we voted not to open cut. We don't know. And there's a lot of, who's the go-to person? Do we go to Helen? Do we go to Twila? I go to David because he's the one that makes the decision.
All you have to do is call in, and we'll find out if there's a permit there. I think in every instance is where you called in, we tried to follow up on it. If we failed to, I'll see that that isn't done again.
Okay, so if they are doing a bore, who's going to inspect it? Y'all are, right?
Do you inspect bores?
Yes, sir. You inspect the whole installation to make sure it's done according to the permit.
Okay, if that's the case, we'll do it. That's not a problem.
All I'm saying is,
Yeah.
all I can do is forward it to your office. I don't want,
If there's an issue with culverts being put in, since that is in your department, and you know how you want that done, if we have a culvert, we're going to call you and ask you to send someone out and make sure it works
Right.
with your situation.
we can do that. What we try real hard to do is not cross the roads. Really don't mind if they're parallel. We don't put them across. We run into that issue over there on 199 where I can't even remember the company's name, but anyway, they put one of those steel ramps across the road and nobody caught it till a month later.
Yeah.
The sad part about it, that is actually one heck of a speed bump out there. If something would have happened and there was a fatality or anything, somebody rolling, the county would have been liable for that. Somebody has to patrol these roads every day. And that's what Mr. Hahn's job was. He went over there, he patrolled the roads, he met with the people, he made sure everything was done right according to the permit. I mean, that's what his job was. His job wasn't just sitting around in the office. He was actually patrolling the roads trying to find new water lines. We see all kinds of new water lines out there, but we don't know if they're current or the previous. And Shelby got me a list the other day, and we've run into a lot of Petro Price. We run into a lot of, there's so many companies out there. And we're finding all these pumps on the side of the road. And we're finding the water line at the edge of the road. Well, the thing is, it becomes a hazard. If you don't have somebody out there checking this out, you've got a problem.
Robert, when's this code enforcement guy gonna start?
He is, will start the first of this month. He's currently in his last 2 weeks of training, so that could be a job we could help out with also.
That's what he's gonna have to do.
Okay.
That's fine with me, I have no issue with that.
We could add that to the list if y'all want him to do that. The court directs us to do that. We can have him.
We've got companies that are using our ditches and stuff to store pipe on. I mean, they're just breaking the lines and leaving them there. You know, and decide when they need them, they just come and get them or put them back together later on, but.
You would just have to provide us with a list of who has a permit and who don't, so we could verify that.
We can copy you a list of, as far back as you want to go. And actually, they're usually for 90 days. In some instances, EOG has some semi-permanent lines, and they usually will do 180 days and then 180-day renewal. But we can provide you with all that information.
I can add that to his duties. We're working on those now, so
Okay, is he going to inspect them while they're installing them too?
whatever the court directs us to do, I mean, that's whatever y'all agree. If you'll give us a list of guidelines for him to go by, and that could be part of his duties also. Because he's going to be out there looking for trash and all the other stuff. While he's doing that, he can be checking those pumps and lines. If you'll provide us with the duties and who has the permits.
As far as the guidelines for the pumps, the barricading and all that, that comes from James or Commissioner David.
I can get with Commissioner Reynolds.
Get with him on all that, because Road and Bridge, all we do is, most of the piping is, we'll tell you what he did.
Okay.
Let me. That's what y'all been doing, that meeting, that's what you're going to do. That's not hard to understand. Gonna do and helping do.
No, well, that's what I'm saying, we're gonna be barricading around pumps.
And that's all that your job is, that point?
Yeah, well, that's what Mr. Hans did, he took care of everything else on the permits.
But perhaps, maybe you need to rearrange some of that.
It is, that's where we're getting them involved.
That's your rearranging, is to get somebody else to do it. Is that what you're saying?
No, we
What
run
I'm
around
hearing.
and we find the problems and we turn them to them, to the commissioner, to the permit office. And then what he does, he sends Twyla, and she goes investigates and finds out what's going on with the permit and everything.
Well,
Yeah, that's what we've been doing.
Mrs. Green had been doing it. I'm asking that, for one thing, as I understand it, Mrs. Green had been out for a period of time on sick leave. Am I not
took off.
correct on that? So in the interim, Twyla,
You said she took off.
She was sick, yeah, she was out sick.
anyway, so Twyla had been doing it basically in preparation for what I was asking for here. And of course, if the court sees not to go with it, then we go back to what we were doing. But what Deputy Ebram says is probably the best solution. Takes one county vehicle off the road, saves that money. It adds some to the justification for the code compliance officer and gives him back the truck driver.
Is that your understanding of?
If the court directs us to do that, we'll add that to his list of duties.
That's not your understanding right now, what you're supposed to do.
He currently doesn't have that on his list, but if y'all would like to do that, I mean, I'll be glad to add that. We have a list of duties for the code enforcement to check, and we can add that to the list of duties if the court directs us to do that, so.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's what the board wants, correct?
Okay, I'll get with Commissioner Reynolds, get the responsibilities and who has the permit.
All right.
I think we probably still need to act on the agenda items so we can officially move Mrs. Green back there, and then perhaps after I visited with the deputy, we'll come back to court and request those duties be added to code compliance if that works for y'all.
Okay, was the motion to relieve Ms. Green as the road permit inspector and move her to her original position? Correct. Second.
Pete seconds.
Second, somebody second.
Pete second.
All right. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. All voted for. Motion carried. Okay, are we to number 16? What?
Looking at James to see if he needs a break.
In a few minutes, we can do another one or two.
One more.
Okay, thank you.
We're 216. We finished 15, like you're saying. All right, 16, item 16, discuss, approve, disapprove condition of lawnmower and to repair or replacement of this machine authored by PTO.
All right, we, our lawnmower is presently at the shop at Kennedy. The lawnmower is about 7.5 years old. It needs at least $500 repair. We had $500 repair done last year. Some was on the carburetor. It needs repair again. So we have a proposal from John Deere to replace the lawnmower, or we can elect to have to repair it, spend $500 on repair. We have a offer to give us $500 trade-in on it as is, and I've also had a suggestion that we not take a trade-in. I have discussed this with James, but I was told they might need that lawnmower at the disposal facility, county yard here, dump yard. and that he might be interested in it. We have to discuss that. But anyway, the proposal is for a lawnmower just like we have for a price of, well, it's $4,301. This trade-in would be $3,801.76. And we also had a proposal for a commercial grade lawnmower, since we'll be having the jail property to take care of. And that would be several $1,000s more. Commercial grade would be a trade value, a trade cost of $6,899.39. This is a mulching mower, the same as we have now. It's my opinion, two proposals, that we not go to the commercial grade now. We're going to have more work down there, but still, it'd just be using this lawnmower about once a week, about what it amounts to. So it's not like commercial grade that you have to use every day. So I would, my feeling is that we wouldn't need commercial grade, that we could replace it more like we have, or spend the $500 to repair it. So, whatever anyone else has to say.
Well, I've spoken to you about this already, Pete, rest of the court, and I believe Pete's right about not getting the commercial one because we're not going to use it every day. I think the one for $4,301.76, it has the mulch kit in there too at $402.76 would probably be the way to go on this.
You want the other more? You want the more?
Yeah, the other one, if we have to put what did you say, about $500 in there? Yeah,
Transfer it to the recycling.
That'll save us a few $1,000s over there. We can use that one, but we're not going to use it that much anyways. So.
My only question is, and I asked this to Pete also, Robert, I thought the jail was going to take care of their own landscaping yard work. Is that just on the interior, not on the exterior?
The agreement was whenever we talked about this last year, the court decided to let us do a maintenance man for the building inside and out, all the inside, and that Zane and them agreed to do the yard work. Because of the cost of the mower, we didn't want to budget another expensive $4,000 lawnmower to use at the jail since we wouldn't be doing it all the time. So Zane and Pete and I talked, and the sheriff, and that we agreed that they would come and just do the yard and we'd take care of everything else.
I certainly don't have it. I'm sorry. I don't have any issue with the need. My only concern is that there's only one price here. I realize it's always good to do business at home, but it's also very good to have someone else to make a competitive bid so you know what you're looking at. And I hate to say it, but anything with green paint on it demands a premium. And I think that it would be wise to see if there's Kubota or one of the other, and I'm not Kubota friendly, but if one of these others that might be as good as would be available at any less cost. I don't know, and I'm not trying to make work for Pete, but that's my only concern.
I have one, and I know that Pete's doing this, and I'm just going to throw this in there. A while back, a few months ago, maybe 6, 7, 8 months ago, I did research on all of these with Kubota and all these other ones that for the collection station out there. And so they're all going to be around the same price. The only thing is that every other one that we have, we're going to have to be, if it breaks down, we're going to have to, the warranty's over, we're going to have to be hauling it back and forth. And if you put that in consideration, in the long run, at 6, 7 years, you're going to have spent more money trying to buy something out of town than you would have to go to John Deere's and it's 5 miles away.
Well, I certainly, support local businesses, don't misunderstand.
Yeah, yes, sir.
I will comment that I haven't got a lawnmower prices. I recently priced RV, and I purchased a Kubota personally, but there's not that much difference.
No.
There's very little difference in the cost.
Okay, thank you.
And therefore, having local service is really.
You plan to take the money that's approved out of the courthouse maintenance budget?
Yes, it would come out of the maintenance budget, and I think we have enough money in there to cover it, technical money.
She's here.
Yes, he has checked with me, and there should be ample money.
Ms. Lowry, what questions you had?
Well, I just have one question. The 4301 was before, after you take the $500 trade-in?
That's correct.
All right, if he's going to take it, the $500 is still going to have to be paid for repair, correct? Who's going to pay the $500?
It'll come out of the Cessna Connection Station.
Just curious.
Yes.
Any other comment? Is there anything at this point to vote on?
No motion yet.
I would make a motion that we buy this commercial, this mower the same as we have, the $4,300, $1.76. Is that one from John Deere?
And then repair the other one.
Without having any price or anything? John Deere, or do we have a price?
We have a price.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay,
$4,301.76.
I didn't see it right here.
I'll second that motion to purchase the John Deere.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor of purchasing the John Deere for the price stated, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign. All voted for. So we'll purchase the John Deere for the price stated.
Judge,
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm sure
I had business to talk with you.
Okay.
I'm ready to stop on.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir.
We're going to take a 15-minute break. It's quarter till 11 or 14 to 11. We'll reconvene at 11 o'clock. Back to order. Item 17 on the agenda. Discuss, approve, disapprove proposal from Buyer Boys to remedy the HVAC condition in the annex building at 210 West Calvary, authored by Pete Yarrow. Pete.
Okay, this, I'll first put this on there as an action item. It's really not an action item. We have to have a meeting before it becomes action. I'm going to give a report on it. We have a report from Quartech Engineering. I think each of you have one if the judge doesn't have it here. Anyway, this is a report on this building from Quartech Engineering. And they report that this building has a total of 11 tons AC deficiency. There's 5 tons calculated in the central corridor. That's all around. 2 tons in the county attorney's office, 2 tons in the northeast entrance, which is, well, that should be the part of the hallway too. 2 tons in the county clerk's office. So the proposal from Biomechanical to supplement this hallway deficiency with a rooftop unit, which would be suspended from wall to wall above the roof over the hallway. It's out there from the county clerk's office. Glass windows could be removed for supply and return. Exposed spiral duct, like the duct already in that high area, is proposed to distribute air. This proposal is to furnish an 8.5 ton AC unit with electric heat. Glass removal and electrical power will be provided by the county. Things not included in that bid. We have a meeting scheduled at 9:30 on March 18th with the architect, engineer, biomechanical. John will be there, and we'll have Zane there to discuss with them and get an approval of the engineer of their proposal. We think it's sufficient, but we have to have that meeting on March 18th before we can make a decision. I see what the engineer says, so. Any questions about that?
What capacity is Zane working in there?
Well, he's worked with the engineer
I mean, he works 1 day a week. Is that correct? I mean, he's part-time, is he not?
yes, he,
And he works 1 day a week.
he's been working part-time. Yes, sir.
Did the Did the court authorize the part-time?
No, that's the next item on the agenda. He's working and doing whatever necessary.
Okay. I suppose we'll come to Griffin. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Pete, question on the glass removal. Will this be a situation that would, I guess, the best way to say it is destroys the aesthetics of the building, whatever exists at least, or would it be, can you kind of give us a little thought about what we were going to do?
Or up there in the, down the hall where the hall goes,
Yes.
front county clerk, beside sheriff's office, down there at that end,
Right.
there's windows up there,
Like
just
these?
like those.
Okay.
You don't see them from the street. They're in the hallway, there's a eye opening up there above them.
So it would not involve a window like these here on the side?
That. One or two of those.
Is that in the hallway or in my actual office?
It's on this side, same as that wall right there. It's in the hallway,
It's in the hallway.
yes. There's some exposed ductwork up there, Rick, in that area.
Will the roof hold it?
There's an I-beam on this side and the wall in that area, and one on that side. We're going to check that out with the engineer to see if that supports it. But we don't intend putting it on the roof, we're trying to support it from that I-beam that's in the wall.
We don't know the answer at this point.
No, we don't until we have this meeting with the engineer.
And that's, is that Quartet engineering?
Cortex.
Anything else? Pete?
No, that's all on that.
Y'all have anything else on that? There's no action to be taken, is it? We're to item 18 or 17? 18. Discuss, approve, disapprove the request of maintenance supervisor Zane Reeves to continue working for the county on a part-time basis, specifically 8 hours on Monday, to check and order supplies, to confer with employees, and to perform necessary projects or schedule them. In addition, he will commit to answer phone calls, return phone calls, check email a minimum of 2 times during the week for a minimum of 6 more hours weekly or up to 24 hours per week. His pay shall remain at the current hourly rate. He would no longer be carried on health insurance offered by PPI.
Okay, Zane is our maintenance supervisor, and he oversees 3 employees right now. That do the maintenance. He does physical maintenance on the building, different things. He has been offered a job to work for someone for quite a bit more money than the county pays him, but he's willing to stay with us, and we have several projects going, and work on a part-time basis and continue doing what he can do for us. And I'm willing to accept that, and we have to discuss this and see if the rest of the Commissioners Court is willing to accept him working on a part-time basis.
Joanna?
I just have a couple of questions to throw out there, or comments to throw out there to begin with. Back when we were working on fiscal year 13-14's budget, Pete, you came to the Commissioners Court and requested a full-time position for the supervisory portion of maintenance. What has changed since then that we don't need someone full-time? And also, if this particular construction company that he is going to work for happens to have jobs with the county, won't that be a conflict of interest? And not only will he not be carried on health insurance if he moves to part-time, it also would include the discontinuance of long-term disability and life insurance.
That's correct, yes. To answer your first question, what has changed? Nothing has changed, but it's my opinion that he's done a good job for the county, and he's capable of doing a lot of good things, and it's going to be hard to replace him. And if he's willing to work on a part-time basis, he'll probably get as much done as two people that we hired, because we're not going to be able to find someone with his ability.
So how is he going to supervise if he's not here?
He's going to come in on Mondays and talk to them and schedule them. They pretty much know their job now. He'll be around during the week. They can call him. We can call him.
Who's gonna be working for him? Who's gonna be doing the work?
Joe is working, Rose is working, and Linda is working, cleaning the building, doing maintenance on the building.
They're doing janitor work,
That's right.
and that's who he's gonna be supervising.
That's correct.
In our current budget, we had budgeted for light replacements in our building due to the continued increase in unavailability of the bulbs that we have there. That budget became effective in October, and nothing has started there, so now Zane is going part-time. Do we have hopes of getting that taken care of? I mean, I have burnt out bulbs in my office now.
We do too. We have one that flashes all the time.
As does Michelle.
Zane, would you like to answer that?
We were waiting for a maintenance done, so we could pre-order all these fixtures and stuff. They were budgeted on a bulk order, and we do not have a place to put them. First, we were talking about a maintenance building off of Brown Street. That hasn't never happened, so that was part of the issue as far as getting lighting replacement going. If this don't work out and I end up leaving completely, then it's either going to be done on a part-time basis with me, or you'll end up having a contracted out.
How many times have you been to the court talking about this? I've not heard you a single time since I've been on here.
I usually relate all my information to people and keep it to the court as he sees fit.
You don't talk to the court.
Not too often, unless requested. That's not the only time.
I'm requesting every time you have a problem, you come to the court with it.
Well,
Is that understandable?
yes, sir.
Oh, no, I was clearing my throat. That's all. No, I was just clearing my throat. Well, I'll go ahead and I'll speak. I'm going to speak. I talked with Pete about this, and we had a couple of phone conversations about this, and he explained everything to me. And I agree that Zane does a tremendous amount of work for us, and the knowledge that he has, it's going to be hard to find that knowledge. And I would like to keep him, even if it's a day and part-time. I mean, I would like to do that, and I do understand Luana's too, the issue she brought up, that it was requested to do a full-time. And I don't know if Pete has any ideas that probably maybe like Zane, I mean, I want to keep you on there because I know that you'll do good for the county. I don't know if later on if somebody comes up or something, then we'll hire a full-timer. If somebody, I mean, it's hard to find someone with that knowledge.
And I have no problem with it. Y'all find someone who want a full-time and you want me to stay on long enough to show them what I've been doing, I'm okay with that, and I'll gracefully walk away.
Zane, would you consider a fee-for-service situation basically a contractual situation?
I guess we could discuss that. I mean, that would really...
This is the whole court, not just one member. You're talking to Pete, and we're all part of the court.
I haven't considered what you're saying. It hasn't been brought up.
One of the concerns that I would have would be the accountability on a situation such as this, to where you have extremely great flexibility in terms of what you do. I haven't been here long enough to form an opinion, good or bad, but, on that basis, it's a lot easier to say, we need you to come in and order, and then replace the light bulbs and pay you either a fee, flat fee, or hourly rate, contractual hourly rate, or something like that. That's my thought.
I will say the only reason we kind of talked about the Monday, because I can take care of all the, supplies for the county and take the requests from different offices and departments on supplies. So I kind of, first I check the storage rooms, I check the emails, and that's kind of where my Monday gets filled up, is keeping our supplies in order. And then whatever leftover time I have that day is taking care of whatever little repairs. I basically prioritize whatever little repairs that are more important. I'm really staying to help out, because I just didn't want to dump this whole load on nobody. And first James and Pete, they know basically what I do every week. So, and like I said, if y'all find someone else that wants to replace me full time, and I have no problem helping out as far as showing them what I do, and I'll gracefully move on. I make a lot more money not being here, so I'm here to help the county more.
Zane had told me that before, that if we find somebody that he would be glad to move on. So well, I personally can understand, we've both been in private work for a number of years, and there's a lot more satisfaction in working and getting things accomplished than it is with the county. It's hard to get things accomplished with the county. It doesn't move fast enough. I think anyone can kind of understand. And of course, he can make a lot more money, so. He said he was willing to work along the medium this way and find someone that he told him to start the state down.
So then will we be actively advertising to fill the position?
And to what wants to do. As I said before, I'm willing to keep it as long as he's around. If the ability and the talent that he has is not going to be easily replaced. That's my opinion.
Do we have a contract services with, say, do we have somebody that comes in and does plumbing, correct?
We do not have contract. We call the plumber, whoever we give there. We've been using Rice Plumbing some. I've used a few others. We use one from Fort Hill. We use one from San Antonio. We use different plumbers.
We've also used Bonnet Services from Kennedy.
And then we have electrical contractor that comes in.
Well, we've used Kirby, local electrician.
I'm just kind of wondering if some of these, we ought to advertise for, contract services for plumbing, electricity, and we kind of did that service contract with the air conditioning people, correct?
Right.
So we kind of set that in motion a little bit. Maybe we should just go ahead and do that. And, some others can maybe talk about it over things, but I think some of the stuff we can probably get taken care of. Because I know these light bulbs bother the heck out of me not being changed and the fixtures. You would think you would get some of that stuff done or updated as it goes. But I wouldn't want to stand in Zane's way if he can do something else, we visited, but if it helps Zane out, to go on and we just do that and just contract everything else. Just a comment that I'm making. I don't know what to go through.
Well, I think we need somebody full-time, first of all, to take care of all of the maintenance that we've got to take care of, which is this building, the building we just bought and have no use for apparently. If we do, I'm not aware of it. The buildings that the tax office is in, we've got all kind of work that we ought to be tending to that we're not tending to. It seems to me, if it were mine, if it all belonged to me, I would be tending to all of it. I wouldn't be leaving part of it out here and going over yonder with some of it. That's just my feeling about it. We're not taking care of the things that we've been given to take care of as part of our jobs. I don't think. I'm not seeing it. That's how I feel about it.
Well, I have no opposition to advertising for a full-time maintenance man. It sounds like Zane doesn't either, but that'd have to be taken up on a different agenda item. Today's discussion, I would make a motion that we approve item number 18 as written.
I'll second it.
Is there any further discussion of that item?
Judge, I don't know if I get a second or not, but I would add an amendment to that.
There was a second.
Oh, okay, but I mean, I don't know whether I'm gonna get a second to my amendment.
I'm sorry.
What I would do is move to amend that for only as long as it took to advertise and employ a full-time person. Would that be acceptable?
It's acceptable to me, but I don't know if it is to anybody else.
Doesn't it die for lack of a second?
I'll second that.
I think it would be, that would be two motions on the table. I think what it would be would be.
You got an amendment.
Right, but it would be up to Pete if he wants to pull that amendment in.
Does the amendment, has amendment mean as long as to advertise, as long as it takes to hire?
As long as it would take to hire people.
Okay. You said that.
I'm sorry, well, once advertised and hired, if I didn't clarify it. In other words, let's put a time limit on the thing. Let's not be a net never.
Be better.
You want to add that in your motion? Okay, then I'll second it.
Is there any other discussion of the motion that, if y'all will state the motion and the second again, so that everybody understands?
Okay, the motion is exactly as worded, and with David's amendment, it's that we advertise and hire a full-time maintenance.
And that Zane would remain until such time as we hire that person. That's understanding.
Yes, sir, Judge.
Any other communication about this, or any other statements you want to make, any of the court? If not, we'll vote on the motion. All in favor of the motion before the court signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No. One no, and 4 ayes. Motion carried, 4-1.
Thank you, Sam.
Pete, can I get a letter from you stating that so we know when we've taken off the insurance that he'd be on a part-time basis?
You can look at the minutes of the court and they say what the court did.
But I need something for his personnel files from his supervisor.
Go in the court minutes.
I still need something from his supervisor.
No, who is his supervisor?
Pete,
When did he get anointed by the board?
he's the building maintenance liaison, just like Shelby is the one for human resources.
Pete, is that what you're?
Yes, I've been assigned maintenance and sign it, like, report back down.
Okay. All right, well, we'll move on to whatever's happening at this point. To item 19, discuss office space needs for existing county employees, new county employees, services, offered by Pete.
Okay, we've had requests for office space, we have needs for office space. The new offices, new positions that we have are financial officer and human resources. They have to have office space. We had a request from TCEQ for office space, and in a meeting that Shelby and I went to with the Railroad Commission, they agreed, yeah, we could put someone in there too. It'd be nice to have someone down here. The citizens I've talked to all agree that it'd be nice to have someone down here from TCEQ and Railroad Commission if they could walk in and talk to and ask questions. And I have been inquiring about driver's license office, and I haven't been able to get into young ladies, Sandra, someone in the New Braunfels office in San Antonio is supposedly in charge, and she hadn't gotten back with me.
Pete, did you say at the New Braunfels office?
The New Braunfels, the San Antonio New Braunfels Avenue office in San Antonio.
Okay.
The driver's license, but they said, that's what I need to talk to, and I haven't gotten a call back.
How long has it been?
Well, it's been about a week since I called. I tried to call yesterday, and I got 20 minutes of robots on the phone. So, never did get to talk to anyone personally, so I'm still trying. I've talked to the highway patrolman here and in San Antonio. I called Oscar Martinez there. And he said, well, when he talks to him, we'll put in word, but that's who I talked to, the people that in the New Braunfels office in San Antonio. And
Highway Patrol?
yes.